I'm gonna be hangry every meeting now.
So you have to eat. Don't you want 15 minutes? I would prefer. You're probably right on.
I'll be all right.
Student. The student. You're probably right all along. My notes said what yours said. Okay.
It's
Like everything's.
I was born ready, just so you know.
Oh my God! I told you we're not dinging it. It took
He
got
is.
different,
He is
different
always on time.
slogans.
It spans mayors.
Different
Spans
slogans.
mayors.
Can we
I'll pick up
slogans?
these things eventually. Yeah,
We do different slogans at the.
we can do that.
Yeah, that
Whatever
break
y'all
in
want.
different slogans. Oh, all right. It's 6 o'clock exactly.
All right, everybody ready?
Understood.
Good evening. On behalf of our new town council and staff, I would like to welcome you to our scheduled town council meeting for January 7th, 2020, our first meeting of the year and decade. Happy New Year. I would like to also welcome those who have joined us on YouTube live stream, and I will now call the meeting to order. We will start with a member of our community for invocation, and I would like to read this script before we get to that. The town of Apex values and celebrates diversity and inclusion. We see diversity as a strength that binds our community together. Inviting members from different faith communities to deliver an invocation at the beginning of our council meeting supports this unity. Recognizing that not everyone practices the same traditions, we welcome you to have a private moment of silence during this time. So I would like to welcome and invite Bishop Jeremy Flake of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here in Apex to deliver our invocation. Bishop Flake.
Our dearest Heavenly Father, we are so grateful to come together today. Father, we are particularly grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy. And for those who have and those who do secure those freedoms, we ask that thy blessings be upon them. Father, we are grateful for our emergency and first responders and ask that thou would watch over and protect them. Father, we're grateful for those who have been elected and who otherwise serve this town and ask that thou would be with them in their service. We are grateful, Father, for the many things that we have in common and recognize that we have much in common. Help these things to unify us and help unity to illuminate the town of Apex, Father. One thing we have in common is a great town with wonderful people in it. Father, where there are differences, we ask that thou would help those differences to work towards our richness and depth. Father, inspire us to treat those differences with love and respect for each other. We're especially mindful going into a major election year that we would be inspired and reminded to be filled with love, to engage, and to do so with respect. Father, we're grateful for those who are able to serve our community and ask that the spirit of service would flourish in this community, that we might thrive, and that we might work arm in arm together to see happiness and prosperity move forward. Father, we ask that thy blessings would be upon this meeting. We are grateful for thy love, and help thy love to be and abide in us. And bless this meeting. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. A few things before we get started. If you would like to follow along on our agenda, you can pick up a copy right outside of those doors right there on the podium just outside the entrance doors. You can also access the agenda on your phone at apexnc.org under the Town Council page under the Agendas tab. If you plan to speak during our public forum or public hearing, please make sure you come to the front and see Ms. Donna to my right, our town clerk, and sign up on the appropriate sheet. And please follow the public speaking rules and procedures as printed. All right, we're now moving to our consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine to be enacted by one motion with the adoption of the consent agenda and without discussion. If a council member requests discussion of an item, the item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. And at this time, no one has presented to me any item to remove from the consent agenda. Anything? Okay, do I have a motion to?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and second. Discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All right, we have a consent agenda. We're now moving to setting the agenda, and you should all have a printed agenda in front of you. Does anybody have anything that needs to be removed or added?
Mr. Mayor, the staff would like the indulgence of the council to swap the two work sessions.
Okay. All right,
Your
so,
number 2 first.
okay. So, suggestion from staff to move work session item 2, move that to number 1. Is anyone opposed to that at all? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular agenda, swapping those two work sessions.
All right, we have a
Second.
motion and a second. Discussion. All right. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All right, the agenda is set. All right, we're now moving to the first thing on our agenda, and that will be, a second, please. All right, we're moving to public forum. Public forum allows the public an opportunity to address the town council. The speaker is requested not to address an item that appears as a public hearing scheduled on the regular agenda. The council will listen but not act upon the forum comments at the meeting. A friendly reminder, a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. You will see a series of lights for you to follow in those 3 minutes, green, yellow, and red. At red, you will need to be coming in for a landing and closing your presentation. And also, before you start your presentation, please give us your name and address. All right? So I have the list, public forum, and we will start with Bridget Taylor. If you would, please come up.
I'm Bridget Taylor, 226 Harbor Haven Drive.
Okay, you can begin your presentation.
I actually had 2 points. This public meeting is not about the board. The meeting is about those that you have elected you. You change the meeting and it hurts the process. When this council makes decisions, understand you are the few and you're representing the majority. Did you think about the majority before you changed the time? The parents, the workers, even the teenagers that would like to speak on issues. How many will not be able to attend these early meetings because of work, traffic, dinner, or even homework? Has changed the public meeting time helped the board or the residents? In my opinion and others, it is wrong to change and inconvenience the majority on the chance to speak at a public meeting. The second thing I wanted to discuss was the downtown plan presentation that was last month. I saw so many issues with this presentation, maybe the board was as stunned as I was. First, you want to remove 80 parking spots from downtown. No solution for the existing parking problem we have downtown. Did you talk to any of the residents that actually shop or eat downtown before you even went into this presentation? It was very weird. Then you want to add 100 homes downtown and additional apartments above the businesses. Again, adding more parking problem and more traffic to downtown with no solution for the problem that already exists. Then you want to remove the trailer park and change the other areas. This confused me. I'm unsure why. This is not the downtown area. The areas of hardworking families, and they are also some of the poorest residents. Is the crime rate higher there that I don't know? Because I thought the biggest problem we had was the apartment complexes and the low-income housing. Does the town plan to purchase the land? Most of the residents in those areas have been living in Apex for years. Is it out with the old, sick, and poor in the community? Many of these have low-wage jobs, and I would like to know how that town has helped these residents. Not a handout, a hand up. Is there an apprentice program that will help the teenagers so they have a better job instead of working at McDonald's? Does the town hire people inside the town? Do you give them a better paying job? How are we helping except for wanting to destroy their homes? I don't understand that. First and foremost, while I researched, it seems the town doesn't own most of this land to begin with. If you don't own the land, you can't change it, which means none of the changes that were in that presentation can occur. It's not your right to tell people what to do with their own property as long as they follow the laws and codes that are in existence. The ideas in the presentation were costly and illogical. The presentation was costly and illogical too. It didn't address the existing problems, it only made more problems. Please do not waste any more money on a plan you have no way to implement. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. All right, next presentation, Laura, and I'm trying to get this name, Weigennacht, is that right? Trying to read the handwriting.
Yeah, it's Wyant.
Wyant, okay. I
Bring him
definitely
my
messed that
tennis
up.
racket.
Okay.
I'll leave it right here.
Thanks for coming up with your racket and everything. It's good.
That's right. That's for sure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Wyant. My address is 300 Benwell Court. I'm the Executive Director of Western Wake Tennis Association. We're a nonprofit organization whose mission is to promote the spirit and growth of tennis in Western Wake County, which includes the town of Apex. And I'm here tonight to just basically thank you for what you've done for tennis in your community. In the past, really 3 to 5 years, we've seen a huge increase in the tennis. You refurbished the Apex Community Park courts, built Apex Nature Park, and then there's more courts online with the Pleasant Park coming up, and we're really excited about that. And because of that, and because of our partnership with your Parks, Recs, and Cultural Resources Department, we've introduced over 200 players that have never played tennis before to tennis on Apex Community Park courts. And that's over about a 2.5-year period. And a lot of those people are continuing to play tennis. Some of them are playing with their families, some of them are playing in leagues, but they're all getting out and playing a lifetime sport. And when I say it's a lifetime sport, I went to a 95-year-old's birthday party that was on the tennis courts, and then we went to lunch after, and it was his 80-year-old friends and everything. So it truly is a lifetime sport that you are offering to people in this area. In fact, there was a study done that tennis players live 9.7 years longer than other people. And the next sport down was badminton, 6.2 years. But the bottom line is that by playing tennis, people are playing something that's keeping them active. It's mental sport, you have to think, but it's also social. And you're providing all that opportunity. And so I want to thank you for that, and thank you for our partnership with the Parks, Recs, and Cultural Resources Department. And I also want to say one other area that we've been able to work successfully with Apex is their Special Populations Program. The Abilities Tennis Program is for intellectually disabled, and you have a great department with Ali Prelis. And I provide the volunteers for that, and I'm thanking you for that because by these people going out and volunteering with special needs population, I wonder who the program is really better for, my volunteers or the people. So I just want you to know what you're doing with your facilities. Carl and John and Allie in your Park and Recs and Cultural Resources Department are amazing. So I'm here to thank you, and I hope you remember me because I brought my big racket. So anyway, I have a brochure for you too. So thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, next I would like to call up Jim Ayler, please.
thought it would be a good strategic move to follow the tennis racket. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of Town Council. Thank you for your public service to this town and for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. Jim Ayler, 2689 Beckwith Road, part of Regency at White Oak Creek on Green Level Church Road in Apex, and I'm joined this evening by fellow homeowners in the audience. We're here to request council's approval to remove 2 roundabouts from our neighborhood. The roundabouts in question are at Silver Dew Court in Aspenwood and Beckwith Road in Aspenwood. The Regency at White Oak Creek homeowners met in our annual meeting in November and voted unanimously to request this action. I was asked to be the spokesman for this request. Our HOA is currently governed by Toll Brothers, which will transition control to homeowners in early 2021. Toll Brothers wishes to remain neutral on these discussions. In order to better understand the issue, I visited with the town's fire chief, Keith McGee, the town's senior transportation engineer, Russell Dalton, and the town's planner, Shannon Cox. They were all very helpful in providing history, defining technical terms, explaining process, and directing us to town documents. Our neighborhood was in early development when the first roundabout was installed on Silverdew. The second one on Beckwith was installed in 2017 after more home sites were constructed without any discussion with the homeowners. These roundabouts are a nuisance and potentially dangerous. They are difficult to spot on a dark, rainy evening by visitors unfamiliar with our streets, even with the newly placed reflectors. In addition, even with new signage, our homeowners report instances of deliberate violation by drivers entering the roundabouts improperly. I personally was almost struck by a driver who was looking the other way as I was coming into the development. To be clear, large vehicles, delivery trucks, school buses, and emergency vehicles cannot navigate around these circles as the turning radius is too tight. These types of vehicles simply drive over the roundabouts. Our town fire chief was unconcerned about fire trucks having to climb the mountable concrete curbs until we talked about the potential deterioration of the concrete from repeated wear and potential damage to the fire truck's tires. I also watched a FedEx truck go straight over the roundabout. Please understand, we do support roundabouts. We desperately need one at the 4-way stop at Jenks, Green Level, and Kelly Roads. But our neighborhood streets are too narrow and lack sufficient traffic to warrant these roundabouts. The vote by our homeowners was unanimous. If you need a signed petition, we can secure one, but the records from our homeowners' annual meeting should suffice. In conclusion, we formally request Town Council remove the traffic calming roundabouts from our neighborhood at Beckwith, Aspen, and Silverdew Roads, and do so without charge for our homeowners. We were neither asked nor approved the installation of these roundabouts, so we don't feel it's appropriate that we'd have to pay for their removal. We invite members of Town Council to come to Regency at White Oak Creek so you can view these roundabouts yourself from a community point of view. We're certain you will agree with us. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to bring this matter to your attention, and we look forward to hearing from you. 2 seconds left.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'd now like to call up Edward O'Boyle, please.
Good evening, Edward O'Boyle, 2205 Valley Rush Drive. And I'd like to talk to council about putting on your radar the corner of Kelly Road and Chapel Hill Road. This intersection, I live at a development on it, is increasingly hard to get out of for several blocks down. What's occurring is, and I'd like to draw a little mental picture for you. US 64 would be behind me, Publix would be to my left, the Olive Chapel Hill Elementary School would be to my left. That's the direction I'm heading towards the Apex Emergency Center. At that light, nobody is breaking the law, but when traffic on rush hour is coming down Olive Chapel, it is a constant stream. When Kelly Road is green, it's a constant stream to the right. Kelly Road also has a green arrow, which again lets a constant stream during rush hour continue down the road, making it very hard to get out of these developments and side streets. I have friends of mine who live actually as far down as Cunnington Trace and they are having trouble getting out. So it's about a good quarter mile to a half mile that people are having trouble getting out, especially making left-hand turns. So if something could be done, like during rush hour, making it no right turn during the red light, or something along those lines, I think it would help out a great deal.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to call up Kristen Coleman, please.
Hello, my name is Kristen Coleman. I live at 501 Pate Street in Apex. And I just wanted to talk to the council about the Apex Skate Park, the skateboard park across the street there, which is wonderful. And I first want to thank the town for doing that. It's a really great thing for our teenagers and other kids to have something to do. So we go there a lot. I have a 5-year-old son. We use it a lot. So I observe a lot there, and I talk to the kids a lot there. And most of the kids are really good about sharing the park, and but a lot of times there are a lot of little kids there, and some of the older kids who are more experienced, I see them wipe out a lot as they're trying not to hit a little child and things like that. And so I'd like the council to maybe consider like setting aside a few hours every week where it would just be for maybe kids 12 and older to use, just to give them, maybe Monday nights and Saturday nights from 8 to 10 or something, which is getting late for the little kids anyway. But it would at least give them a little bit of time to be able to use the park, not have to worry about the little kids getting in the way or getting hurt, and give them some time to really practice their skills and not hold back. I did poll the kids there, and I asked a lot of them, I said, do you feel like the little kids get in your way? And again, while they're very welcoming, almost all of them said, yes, it would be really nice if the parents were kind of keeping an eye on them a little better, or at least teaching them the safety of the park and how to, observe what's going on around them. I also tried to poll the parents, so this was interesting after the kids said that about not having much supervision there. There were probably about 20 kids, like some really small kids using the park, and I was only able to find 2 parents at the park. On the side, I'd like to, maybe start some community programs with the kids there, maybe getting like a buddy system where, we have a couple hours on the weekend, maybe where little kids can show up and the bigger kids can kind of help show them the ropes and do some sort of lessons, but in a community way. I also asked the kids about that, and they'd be happy to volunteer for something like that. And just disseminating some better information to the parents about how to better supervise their smaller kids there, and what kinds of things to tell their kids to watch out for. So there was some feedback from people saying, well, we don't need to set aside time for the older kids because the park is really self-regulating. And again, like I said, the kids really are welcoming, but I see them wiping out. They're being nice, and it would be nice for them to just maybe have a couple hours a week to themselves to really use the park. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman. I would like to now call up Ann Nyland, please. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Ann Nyland. I reside at 1892 Blue Jay Point in Apex. I see on the agenda tonight that Marty Stone is to discuss possible mitigation measures for the Electric Operations Utility Center on Milano Road, and to provide direction to staff on how to proceed with construction. I believe it's under closed session, is that correct? We feel that there should be no discussions regarding mitigation measures on how to proceed with the construction regarding this project. The only discussion should be about is how the town is violating its own UDOs and North Carolina law, and how this project should be stopped, and that you should not waste taxpayers' dollars on something that is not correct. This project is a utility and therefore should not even be constructed at this location. It is a utility and does not fall under the town's definition of government service. Furthermore, under North Carolina law, the UDO's exclusion of government operated utility is consistent with North Carolina law, which provides that a municipality acts in a proprietary capacity when it establishes an electrical distribution system. This facility is involved in the distribution of electricity to the community of Apex. Furthermore, in reviewing some of the documents we received from the town pursuant to our FOIA request, the town is ignoring its own ordinances and has permitted itself multiple deviations from its own laws. For example, ignoring buffers with respect to a homeowner who now has to have a truck entryway in his backyard. I find this not fair at all. I am handing out a letter from our group's attorney. I don't know if you have received it from the Morningstar Group. We are still waiting for the town's interpretation of its official interpretation of this project. And we respectfully request it immediately.
Thank you. All right, we're now in public forum. We're now moving to our public hearing. And first public hearing will be Diane Ken, Planning Director for Annexation 679.
Okay, good evening. This annexation is a portion of the Linden subdivision at Linden Grove Drive and Olive Chapel Road. The general vicinity is to the west of 540. This is the property. It was approved as an addition to the Linden subdivision that's already under construction. They do need to be annexed in order to get their construction plans approved, so we do recommend approval of this annexation.
Is there anybody else here to speak?
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll now open up the public hearing for this item, and I don't have anyone signed up for that now, so I'll close the public hearing and refer the matter to council for discussion and possible motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, have a motion second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All right, that passes unanimously. We're now moving to public hearing number 2, and that would be for annexation number 680.
Okay, so this is Courtyards on Holt subdivision. It's Holt Road and Catlett Street. This is in the far north of our jurisdiction, west of Davis Drive. This is a close-up of the property. This was a subdivision that has been previously approved, and again, they do need to be annexed in order to get their construction plans approved. And this just shows you kind of where it is with the other corporate limits are shown in green. We do recommend approval.
Thank you. All right, I'll open up public hearing on this item. I have no one signed up, so I'll close public hearing and refer the matter to council for discussion and possible motion.
I have a question first. So Diane, there was a discussion when we zoned this about the piece that was kind of enclosed by this. Will this, I guess the subdivision will facilitate any kind of water and sewer to that property if that comes online at some point too? I mean, I guess it's all in the plans.
My understanding is the sewer, I'm not the sewer person, but the sewer policy is there are manholes set so that any adjoining properties can come in later at a later point and utilize
Or the
those.
standard way of doing the site plans, I guess?
Like saying yes,
Okay.
that's not my area.
Thanks.
Yep.
Any other discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second it.
All right, have a motion and second. Discussion further? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All right, that passes unanimously. We will now move on to the agenda. We have no old business. We're now moving to unfinished business, and that will be presented by Mayor Pro Tem Nicole Dozier.
Thank you, Mayor. So on December the 3rd, we started a conversation related to the 2020 calendar. And I spoke about considering canceling a meeting on June the 16th and then July the 7th, which would give a longer break for, especially for staff who have to be here, and for those who have to prepare for those who have to be here. And then related to November the 3rd, not canceling, but moving that because it is election day. And then thinking of canceling again, another time popular to be with family is during a holiday break is to cancel December the 15th. And so I think what we directed staff to do is to come back and let us know what we want to provide, this thing for staff. We also don't want to make it hard for staff. And obviously the constituents who depend on coming to these meetings and presenting as well. So I guess I would push it to Mr. Town Manager.
I think the largest concern, thank you, Ms. Dozier, that the staff has is with that long break by canceling the second meeting in June, first meeting in July. The council has a set amount of work to do, and it's going to transfer it to other meetings. It will likely significantly lengthen the second meeting in July. We appreciate, the staff does, the sentiment of that, but our recommendation would be go ahead and cancel the first meeting in July as this council has done in the past, but not that one in June. But of course,
Hold on, but
we still work for the council, so if you want to cancel them both, we'll.
it prefers the July one to be canceled and not the mid-June one?
Yes,
because
sir.
it is July 4th holiday on that Saturday.
Yes, sir.
So the holiday would probably be, would that mean the holiday would be on the 3rd? And so people would be off?
Yes.
Yeah, the red would be the.
Yeah, that's what you're
So
referring to?
you're suggesting keep that one canceled
Yes, sir.
and then, but put back on the mid-June one?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
thought you said the reverse, okay.
Oh, yeah, and we've done that, we've done that.
Okay.
And so I think that makes sense to me. How do you all feel about that, is keeping the June 16th and then just canceling what we have done before in the July 7th?
And I don't believe we have an issue then with that second meeting in December, if that's the council's wish to have a longer break. Just understanding that the work that would be scheduled for that for you all would end up on your first meeting in January.
And we also need to think about how it impacts the other committees and boards. Moving the November meeting is fine. So now we just need to think about, how do folks feel about the December 15th meeting?
Being that I'm new, I think it depends on workload issues. I appreciate the sentiment too for holiday. So for me, I'd like to hear from maybe some of you who have been on the council a little longer in terms of the workflow issue in December, in terms of what you think. But I agree with keeping the June meeting on our calendar to help with workflow.
I mean, what we can do is just, we can scratch the June, we can scratch the December, we can keep the July 7th as a canceled one, and then just, and then move the November 3rd to the 4th. How does that sound? And then if later on there's a discussion and it seems like December 15th works out, then we can do that with enough notice for everyone who's involved, especially.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I was going to point out that I agree with moving the November 3rd meeting because it falls on election day. I'd just like to point out that March 3rd is also an election day.
Oh, that's right, primary day. Mhm.
So if that's our policy, not have meetings on election nights, perhaps that should move to Wednesday as well.
That's actually a very good point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we need to move the March meeting. The December meeting, it honestly, it doesn't matter to me whether we cancel it or keep it. I'm okay with a longer meeting in January if we need to cancel it. So I think it's up to this council.
So I think what my motion will be is motion to amend the 2020 calendar of town council meetings to include the following amendments. Moving canceling the July 7th meeting, moving the March 3rd to March 4th, canceling the July 7th, moving November 3rd to 4th. So March.
Canceling December 1st.
No, and keeping December.
Keeping December.
Yeah, so 3rd to the 4th, no 7th, on July 7th, and then moving the November 3rd to the 4th. That's my motion. I couldn't say it again because I kind of messed it up a little bit.
If you would, please repeat that
Yeah,
motion.
okay. So for motion to amend the 2020 calendar of town council meetings to include moving the March 3rd meeting to March 4th, canceling the July 7th meeting, and then moving the November 3rd meeting to November 4th. That's my motion.
Okay. Do I have a,
I'll second that.
all right. We have a motion and a second with those amendments in the 2020 calendar. Any further discussion on it? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All right, that passes unanimously. We'll now move into new business, and I would like to call up Tom Caldwell, Chairman of Public Art Committee. Possible motion to support and approve 3 public art projects.
All right. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for giving me some time this evening, and greatly appreciate it. What I want to do is give you a little bit of overview about what's been going on in public art over the last couple of months, and then also to talk to you a bit about 3 projects and put them in front of you for approval. Let's see, we should have some slides in here.
Those.
Clicking through, am I going?
You probably need to exit this one.
All right, let's get me out of there. All right, well, help me out here. Is public art presentation on there? Good. All right, there we go. Thank you very much. All right, so over the last couple of weeks we've had, and months, we've had a couple of things going on. One is a partnership with the local schools that we've been doing over the last several years to do the holiday painting downtown. So I hope everyone has enjoyed that. The students do a terrific job, as well as the teachers really supporting this. It's Apex High School, Apex Friendship, and Thales. And it's something that we've enjoyed with them, and they've enjoyed doing, and I hope the town has as well. The painting will be, the rest of the cleaning will happen this week, and so the holidays will officially be over after that's completed. We've also enjoyed a great partnership with Diane and the planning department. They've helped us a great deal with a map that we put together in the past, and also working with local developers. We have now a sculpture that's gone up that a developer put up at the end of North Salem Street, and their development there, and a second one is going in. I have not been by there very recently, so it may have actually gone in over the holidays. If not, it will go in this month. And so that's 3 sculptures that have appeared in town over the last several months. And then we've also seen the community getting involved with some murals that have happened, part of it inspired by, I think, the work that planning has done to encourage this type of thing, and then also the downtown plan, which came out a few weeks ago. And so this is kind of just an example of several of those that have happened around the community. So we're very pleased to see this. And so the one up the top is actually in the high school. So if you have an opportunity to go in there, that mural is a terrific collaboration between the students and a local artist who happens to be on our public art committee. And the others are at local businesses in town. So if you're scoring at home, that's 3 sculptures and 3 murals in the last 5 months that we didn't previously have. So I really thank you for your support in making that happen, and the planning department for being a terrific partner in this. So now on to the request. So we still have much more work to do and things on our mind. And so this first one is a mural that we were actually approached by United Arts. They partner with local communities to do murals in town, and they had heard about our fledgling public art program and have been wanting to do something in Apex for quite some time, and so they want to partner with us on a mural. They have the expertise to do this type of thing. We haven't done a large-scale mural on our own, so we want to partner with them. And this is a location that's been identified as a good candidate for a mural. This is a Public Works building on Route 55. It is a very fine facility, but kind of nondescript building, and is begging for a little enhancement. on that wall. It's got great visibility and very slow drivers going by so they can enjoy the sights where they sit in traffic on 55. So this is one of the projects that we would like to pursue, and we will follow our process of going to RFP for artists and bringing forward the recommendation to this council at a later date when, as we go through those steps. We do feel that this project would be done in this calendar year. The second project I want to share, and I'm happy to field questions on these. Maybe I'll run through the three projects and then we'll come back for questions and such. This is a art walk and sculpture show that we've talked about before here. It's something that we've had on our roadmap for quite some time, but now we've got an opportunity to move forward with this project. Again, working with planning, they've identified about a dozen or so locations for potential sculptures that will really enhance the connectivity between our town campus here, the Hunter Street Park, and downtown. Really encourage people to get out and walk and see some lovely artwork. And these works of art would be on a temporary basis, so they'd in essence be on loan and actually all for sale. And all come in on a single weekend. So we'd go from kind of nothing in that corridor to a number of pieces of artwork that would be out there on display for a period of time. We haven't determined exactly, but probably 6 to 9 months. And then they all kind of go away. And if it's a very successful program, we can do it again. And so this is something that other communities have done and something we would like to do. And the request we want from you here today is to get approval to proceed with the project, and the next step in the project would be to work with a consultant. So to bring on a consultant, we do have funding in our budget for that, to help us coordinate and organize this program. Part of the program would also partner with local businesses and go out to seek sponsorships to offset the cost of the program, because there would be stipends involved and award prize money for artists for the program. And then finally, this final project is a project along the Beaver Creek corridor. If you've ever been down that corridor, it's a lovely place to go for a walk or a run, and also has some very not lovely raised manholes all along the corridor. So this is a project that came to us as an idea from someone on the actually Parks and Rec committee, and had seen it in another community been done. And we have support from the Public Works Department to do this. And the idea is to paint some of those raised manholes along that corridor, something that would be coordinated by an artist that is on our Public Art Committee and working in partnership with the community to do the work. The thing that we'd like to do as a kind of a pilot is we've identified one in a kind of nondescript area that people wouldn't really notice, to experiment and try this out to make sure that what we'd be doing would actually enhance those manholes, and then also see what kind of effort it would take to do that. But it's a project that we'd like to proceed with and get approval to go forward with in the Beaver Creek corridor. All right, so those are the three projects, and I'm happy to field whatever questions I can.
Any questions from Mr. Corn?
Do you have a way of, back to the earlier slides, do you have a way of updating, is there a process to update that public art map? We've added, I know we've added some public art easements
Yes.
in the things we've approved that don't show up on that map.
Yeah, so we have not made a change to the original map, but that would be something we'd work with Diane in the planning department to make those updates, when they're needed.
And it sounds like you've got the funding in your budget to do this, and you're also working on business partnerships too to help with sponsorships with
That's
some
correct.
of this, which I think is a great idea.
I love the variety here too, so little bit of this, little bit of that, I love that.
Thank you.
I love the collaboration with the high school students. That's really cool. And what's the energy level with them? Or do you have a lot of feedback and a lot of people involved with that?
But yeah, so the other thing we did this year is we asked for one student from each to be a kind of junior member of the committee. So they joined our meetings, and we had, in the first half of the year, they helped coordinate the downtown painting. In the past, we just invited them in and they did the painting. This time they were involved in the whole process. And then those three get to, kind of put that on their resume and get some experience there. And then we'll get 3 new ones starting this month, and they're going to help us with our Peak Fest event. And at Peak Fest, they'll help us brainstorm on what we do. But last year we did a public art, kind of a collaborative project with the town where people got to paint and create a product at the end. And we're going to do something similar, and that's going to be their assignment. And they also help provide terrific input on these other projects as well.
Very good.
And to clarify, our people, our local residents and young people will be able to actually paint as part of this or not?
In
or
the-
collaborate, or will they be
For
opportunities
the Peak
for
Fest
that?
project?
No, these projects that you're,
Well, so for the mural, that would be a professional artist.
okay, so that's professional.
The sculptures will also be professional artists that would come in. The plan for the corridor, the manholes in the corridor, is under the guidance of an artist to have people in the community help support that project.
What's the time frame for the sculpture show, public art walk thing?
So that one takes a bit of time. So the idea is to actually have the sculptures start appear next spring. So it is a pretty long planning process. We do have to make sure that we get the right bases and foundations put in place. And so the idea would be kind of about a year and a few months from now, have them appear, stay throughout the entire summer, and then go away prior to the winter time.
So would I be correct in assuming that part of this cost is a one-time cost to put the bases there? That we
That's
don't have to do
correct.
In future years, we just swap out the pieces?
Part of it is that, part is stipends for artists, others awards for Best in Show and a community choice. That's our plan. And then for the consulting fee as well.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that if you did see any future grant opportunities, that you and I make sure that we connect and we'll support you with that.
Okay,
Like
great.
previously.
Thank you. And we have, one of the members of our committee is going to a grant kind of workshop later this month to kind of learn a little bit more about how to apply for these grants. And then there's actually grants in that workshop that we can begin to apply for.
I'm happy to help with that too.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion, questions? Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion approved? Sorry. I was just gonna ask, are we being asked to just give direction to continue on this road? We're not actually appropriating any funds right now, right?
That'll be during the budget time, right?
You want to clarify, Mr.
So,
Chairman?
You already have.
yeah, so the budget exists so there's a couple of sources of budget. We have budget this year that will cover the mural, will cover the manhole work, and will cover the consultant. We also have funding that we had earmarked for a mural from a previous year on a capital project that we've talked a bit about, looking for Sean in the crowd here somewhere, that we could reappropriate for another project. So there's a couple, so that would cover these 3 projects and then some. But these will also spill into next year. So if we were to get similar funding as we got this year's budget for next year, that would also be certainly a way to draw those funds. Anything that we were getting sponsorship or grants would offset whatever the town put into it. And United Arts will contribute $5,000 towards the mural.
Motion approved?
I second it.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Discussion further.
You messed up my motion. No, I want to be the motioner, but that's fine.
I was looking at you, just back yourself.
You threw me off, man.
All right, we got a motion second. Discussion. All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All right, that passed unanimously. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much.
All right. All right, we now move into, we have 2 work session items we discussed when setting the agenda. What I would like to do is move this session into upstairs in room 3A. I like the design layout of tables and sets us up nicely for a really good discussion. So we're going to take a break right now, and we'll break into 7 o'clock.
So it's open to, is it open to the public?
Yes. It is.
Okay.
We'll take a break at 7 o'clock, and we'll be in room 3A upstairs. We'll see you there. Thank you.
Consent agenda, is that going to be addressed publicly out loud, or is it just?
It's over.
Check the box and done?
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was a few minutes late because of traffic. Cool. Awesome. Everything.
Were you here for an item?
Yes, item 11, the American Tobacco Trail.
So nothing was
Everything got
pulled,
approved.
so nothing was pulled out, so.
Good to go then?
Yep. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Have a great day.
You too.
Try that pin for a second.
So we come back down here to adjourn?
No.
Adjourn, sir.
No, we're complete up there.
I don't.
We normally do that for the close. Is it different for this?
So, when I did that work session up there, I feel like
gotta come
I
back.
adjourned. I feel like remember I did the work session over here? Didn't I adjourn from that space?
There's no additional.
Just asking Roy real quick, but I think she's asking related to like staff.
I just need to write a little note.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Like a little more toward using scooters instead of skateboards too.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe both solutions might be possible.
Thank you.
I don't know, there's room on that part. It'd be nice if there was room.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Would you pass this along?
Yes.
Yes. No, just yes. What now? Yeah. That's all right. I'm gonna suggest we put in more money this year into art. Because we did it last year and I made note of that. But your budget, so I'll just, here you go.
Oh, no, it's your budget.
Well, I let it ride next year, but I will suggest that would be helpful. Anyway.
Second retreat.
Yeah, I think 50 would be.
What is it now?
30.
30?
Support of the rest of the council.
I'd like to do
2 more anyway.
I just think about what good ties. It's like stuff that everybody sees, everybody likes. Yeah. I mean, not everybody likes art, but a lot of people see it.
In the minutes that be approved by the town. I don't know what his really was.
You go upstairs and set that up before you turn all this off because they need help. Like they really need help. What's their heart? Nothing's happening.